Come on, come on. Nolan Wells Part 2. I'm going to have to probably start doing a crash course on this topic and the other topics, because there's so much going on right now to where you can't really focus on one topic no more. Like, they are really putting this country in an uproar. So here we are. So Nolan Wells, and briefly before I even speak on Nolan Wells, we had another young black man, Daniel Watson, was unalived. You have I think his name is Daniel Irving. Also, you have a guy named, I think is Jarrett Jackson. I'm calling these names out, and it's sad because it's so many deaths that's happening over the past 10 to 15 days just in that stretch. I'm not even counting the other what I want to call it on this one. I guess you could call it the rope tree games, even though it's not a game. Before I touch on Nolan Wells, excuse me. Rest in peace, my brother. They have been a reported amount of about 70 rope tree games that's been happening since 2000. I think they said 70, and all of them were considered suicides, which is crazy. I just don't understand how you would think that a melanated, dark-skinned, brown person would just commit suicide in that nature. But I don't want to make this video about that. I'm just going to speak on Noel. I spoke briefly about this. This is another one. Try to be as brief as I can because it's getting dark. I'm in the car, and I'm just doing a lot of reflecting, on things. I'm just trying to figure out how, and it is about 10 days later, 10 to 12 days later, we have no arrests. We have no one even being questioned about anything. Then they're sending out these puppets that's making statements and going on TMZ. All of them is talking straight cap. All that. Javon Williams, he's capping. This other guy, Shepard, he's capping. They photoshopped a little picture with him and Nolan Wells. That's a Photoshop picture. That's Photoshop. That's not a real picture of them. The mother says she doesn't even know who this guy is. So what they're doing right now is they are literally sending out puppets. I've heard TMZ got in contact with Noel's high school coach. Forgot his name. It doesn't matter. He's a puppet on this video. He's a puppet master. No, he's not a puppet master. He is the puppet. So, yeah, he did a TMZ video. Honestly, I didn't listen to it, but I don't have to listen to it because all they're trying to do is downplay the racial presence that's surrounding this case. And they know good and well that's exactly what it is. You had 3 white YT boys that unalived a black man, period. That's point blank. They went out, they to save themselves. This Ashley Cole, the judge, and her statement was cap 2. It's all damage control. She orchestrated this whole thing allegedly, but she's a judge. What's his name? Wyatt. You got Evan, you got Eric, you got Warren, you got all these murderers or accomplice to a murder. You hear Javon Williams on TMZ talking about, I said my plea. See, we have to catch certain words people say when they're saying it. We have to take emotions out of it and just listen to what they're saying. They're going to trip up. He said his plea. Now, I could be jumping out the window when I heard that. I could be reading too much into it. I don't know. All I know is what you mean by plea. If this was truly your friend, you wouldn't be acting like that. That's not how a best friend will act towards someone that just got unalive. I've yet to hear any type of RIP from anybody. And why do y'all keep sending these puppets to make statements when we're not even getting the statements from the people that was in the picture with him? Can we get a statement from them? Allegedly, they killed this boy, Nolan Wells, in the pool, hid the body, orchestrated, called the Coast Guard at 11 p.m. Now, keep in mind, you said you didn't see Nolan until 3 p.m. that afternoon, 3 to 4. Why would it take you almost 8 hours to call a Coast Guard? And on top of that, why didn't you call Nolan in between those hours to see if he was okay? There is no record of anyone that was on that boat that called Nolan if he supposedly stayed on the island. If I left my friend on an island without a cell phone, which is weird. So again, you just told on yourself because they obviously they wouldn't have been able to call him. But how in the hell you leave him and not be worried about communicating with him? How do you do that? A friend. Y'all wasn't no friend. Y'all were jealous jealous men, like Three Stooges. Even though it was more than y'all, but I'm talking about the three that was in that photo. Scrubbed his phone. The only thing that bothered me is that I think Ben Crump has said something about they was going to allow the Mississippi Police Department to look over the phone. Why would you do that when they didn't even want to get a phone to the father in the first place? Man, that's crazy. Now you have people on the internet wanting us melanated people to not talk about this because they want to just sweep it up under the rug. But do you really think that we're going to constantly keep dealing with this stuff and we're not going to talk about it? That's insane. We are in the age of information. You're going to have tons of people coming out making videos and talking about this because it doesn't make sense. And the fact that, again, there has not been any arrests or anyone that said they were questioned. No communication, nothing. You just vanish. You just vanish. You just vanish. That's it. I don't know how this autopsy is going to go as I conclude this video. Because it's puzzling that the Mississippi coroner has not released an autopsy, even though they said they did an autopsy. Where is the autopsy? Where is the report? Are you waiting on the independent one that Ben Crump is doing? So you can manipulate what you're saying? This is like the biggest hand that can slap somebody in the face and think that that's the wind hitting my face or something. Like, I can't even describe any word that can describe the feeling of how they think we are going to sit here and just not say nothing. That is insane. That just proves the nature of racism. That right there proves the nature of racism. If you think we're going to just sit back and not question it, I don't understand how you can think that. How do you expect us not to talk about this? I'm not going to I'm not gonna hold you too long. I'm obviously at this point I'm gonna have to just start doing little 10-minute videos because there's so much information that's coming out, and I'm still digesting the Carmelo Anthony situation. Now you got to digest the Eric Chow and the Cyrus Carmack Belton situation. That's all that's happened in the last 2 or 3 months. As far as sentencings and everything that's going on, it's wild stuff going on. I don't want to. I'm gonna conclude this too. All you celebrities, athletes, entertainers that's not saying nothing about this, don't even promote nothing. I don't even see how we even still following them in the first place. I don't even see how we even. I don't know what we doing right now. They haven't said a word about anything. What celebrity you've heard even posted about Nolan Wells or Carmelo Anthony, Cyrus Carmack Belton? Now you got the rope tree, the tree rope games that's going on. You don't hear nobody even saying nothing. No media, no nothing. The girl that was going down for Juneteenth gone. The girl in North Carolina, the 16-year-old. You got this Jared Jackson guy that just at a festival in Michigan, if I'm not mistaken. You had one that was right outside of a Job Corps someplace. I forgot his name because it's so much. You got to write it down. You don't hear about any other race going through nothing like that. That's crazy. Man, I can't even say justice for Nolan Wells because Carmelo Anthony supposedly was defending himself in a stand your ground state, and they still managed to give him 35 years. And he stood his ground regardless. All the pictures of the so-called knife that was supposedly used, the media is showing you the incorrect picture. That's not even the weapon that was supposedly used, but the media is spinning it like that. But he never got charged with the knife, so how can you even post that? If he would have had that in his possession on a school ground, that would have been a charge. But people don't think. Just like how they sending these puppets out for the Nolan Wells situation. Dude, we already cracked the code. We already knew what happened. We just trying to find out how it happened and how no one has been arrested yet, how no one has been questioned yet. And you got possession of his cell phone and keys. His car is parked in your house. And nobody in the house has been questioned about anything. I'll be back for part 3. I'm just going to have to combine all these unfortunate deaths that's going on in this so-called America that we're in. One thing for sure, though, this still our land. Come on.